to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm gonna be doing a platinum retouch with a rose gold finish, and I'm gonna share with you guys one of my favorite rose gold formulas with a twist, and I'm gonna share how to retouch a platinum. So let's go. I'm so excited. Today I have one of my friends coming in and we are going to be doing a platinum retouch. She has had her roots growing out for about 5 weeks now. She is about a level 4, and so we're going to be touching up her platinum roots. I'm going to share with you guys all of my tips and tricks for that, and then we're going to be refreshing her pink and doing a little bit of like a rose gold pinky kind of color on her, kind of to match up my hair color, do something a little bit fun with her, and just to add a little bit more dimension into her current color. So I'm going to mix up and I'll show you guys what we're starting with. Alright, so this is our starting canvas. You guys can see we've got, you know, about an inch or so of roots, and then we have a little bit of banding in there just from her previous color that's just been not quite lifted, and then some of her existing kind of cotton candy pink. So we're going to be changing it up, playing around with it, but I'm really just going to show you guys how to do a platinum retouch and how I do that, and then also how to add some fun colors in and how to add a little bit of dimension into her color. So this should be pretty fun. Alright, so I'm going to be mixing up our Wella Blondor. I'm going to do about a scoop and a half here. And I'm actually going to be doing 35 on her because she's got pretty dark roots, but I am going to be putting some Olaplex in there just to ensure that her hair stays as healthy as possible while we're processing it. And I may remix for the back, but I just want to do a scoop and a half as we're doing kind of the beginning area. Alright, so I sectioned her hair out, basically the front from the back, and then in this back section, I just sectioned out kind of this top area, and I'm going to work kind of in this bottom area first. The reason why I like to start in the back is because if this area does process sooner, which it probably will by the time we get to the front, that way we can rinse it out sooner than if we needed to rinse the front. So I'm just going to start down here. Luckily, she only has just under an inch of regrowth, so I'm not going to have to do this in 2 different sections. I'm just going to be able to do a regular platinum retouch. But I just go in with my lightener, and I actually really like these brushes from Frame Arm. They help me stay really precision. I only use them as I'm applying the lightener. I don't use them as I'm going back through and reapplying the lightener, just because it does have the pintail comb and we don't want it to, you know, scratch the client's scalp or anything. But this does really help me keep it nice and clean and precision as I'm applying the lightener. So I'm just going to apply it to this bottom section here. As you guys can see, I'm applying it, and I don't all the way go to this little area because that area is going to expand, and it's going to, the lightener is going to touch on the area, so that way we're not getting a ton of overlap and things like that. So you guys can see I'm just taking these thin little sections, kind of working my way up through this section, and just applying generous amounts of lightener here. Alright, so I've finished that bottom section, and now what I'm doing is I kind of divided this hair. You guys can see it's like about like an inch wide section, and I'm just taking almost like paper thin slices and laying them down on top of the lightener and adding our lightener on top of this. This helps so that I don't have to go back through and drag it down as I'm pulling back through the section. So I really like this technique once I kind of get to about the round of the head, just kind of barely taking my thin slices, and it really works with this kind of brush because it's a precision brush. And you guys can see that I'm fully saturating the hair there, making sure that it's getting all the way through that section. Even though they are really thin sections, we want to make sure that we're getting all the way through and not having any hollow spots. And I will go back in and check these as well. Alright, so I got to this top section, and because I am going to take the sections and fold them over, I am going to take a little foil and just kind of clip it down so that as I direct the hair over, we're not getting more of that lightener onto the fresh hair that doesn't need to be lightened. So this kind of foil just protects it. I do this a lot when I'm doing even root touch-ups and stuff on my clients for gray hair, things like that, so that the color doesn't squish on the freshly colored hair or the hair that doesn't need more product on it. So this is a really great technique for just kind of protecting your surface area and making it a lot easier on yourself. And you guys can see as I'm going throughout the head, I'm doing really, really thin sections. Again, this is making sure that we get lightener all the way through the hair. She does have fine hair, which is great, but usually it takes me about 45 minutes to apply my platinum retouches, whether it's blonde or pink or whatever. If I'm doing a platinum retouch, it takes me about 45 minutes to apply because I am going really precision and really slow with it, versus taking nice thick sections where the lightener is going to have that issue where it doesn't actually get through all the hair, and then you have spotty marks and you have to go back through and relighten those. So I would rather spend the time on my application versus having to go back through and fix things. All right, so I finished this section down below, and again, I did the foil on top of my section as I moved to the next section, just because as I lay this hair over, I don't want this hair to be sitting in lightener by any means, and so I'm going to just apply our lightener going over this side, and it helps me just keep my sections really, really clean. Again, like I say, I do spend a little bit more time applying my platinum retouches, but again, it makes a big difference because my client's hair is a lot healthier and I don't have to stress about them breaking off or things like that, which is obviously a big issue when it comes to doing a lot of platinum retouches over and over again, especially every 4 to 5 weeks. So this just ensures the health of my client's hair as much as I can. So we finished her entire head application, and so now I'm going to go back to the section that I started in, and I actually switched out my brush just to get a clean brush, but I also didn't want to use the tail comb because I didn't want to irritate her scalp or by means like scratch it or anything like that. So I'm just going in with a regular brush, and literally all I do is I pull apart the hair and I'm looking for any spots that maybe look hollow or that need resaturation. This is actually looking really good down here. So because I had gone through as I was applying her color and just resaturating throughout, I'm not really too concerned, but you would want to check for any spots that are maybe hollow or deep or something like that, or spots that are maybe drying out. So this is just kind of a good little cross-check thing. It also gets a little bit of air into your client's head because sometimes we know that it can be a little bit irritating and warm. So this is kind of nice just to kind of give them a little bit of rest while their hair is processing. So all this goes through her head, just kind of little section by section, making sure everything looks really good. So she has been processing for a little bit. I did put a cap over her head just to kind of keep some of that moisture and heat in. But you guys can see we have lifted to a really nice pale yellow underneath here. And so she's pretty much ready to rinse underneath here, especially because we are doing pink. We don't need it to be like platinum white, you know, but she's already lifting really good. And again, we don't want to add any additional damage. So we are going to rinse just this back section. Her front has a few more minutes, but we'll rinse this now because she's ready. Okay, so while she is processing, I'm actually going to mix up her root color, and I'm gonna throw in some low light. So I just added a little bit of white conditioner. That's gonna act as our base, but the majority of our color is gonna be the mauve quartz and the bronze. And so I'm just gonna start mixing it up. And basically what I do is I put the color in and I mix it until it becomes the color that I want it to be. It's almost like mixing up watercolor. So because we want it to be a little bit deeper at her root, I am gonna start with a good base of equal parts of mauve and bronze, and I just kind of eyeball it. And then I am going to use some Pulp Riot Cupid here, and this just adds a good like deep pink in there. I'm just going to do a tiny bit because it's really concentrated. And then I'm also going to do just a squirt of the Pravana black additive, literally like a dot, just like that. This actually will deepen the color quite a bit, but we don't want it to get too dark. So I like to do that. It also smokes it out a little bit. So now I'm just going to mix it up. And again, I'm just kind of looking for the tone that I want. I want it to be more in the rose gold, but like a deep rose gold for her roots. And then, like I said, we'll do some low lights with this, and then we'll pull like a lighter pink through her ends, or just utilize the pink that she already has. So that's kind of the fun thing about her pink is anytime I'm doing a vivid color, I like to utilize the colors that they already have. So one thing I like to do too when I'm mixing up my color is once I've kind of mixed it up, just to kind of get an idea of where we're at, I like to test it out on a paper towel. Now I know that her hair color is a little bit more warm than the white paper towel, so taking that into account, this will be a little bit warmer, but I'm really liking the tone that that's picking up. So I'm just going to make up a bit more. I might add a little bit more pink into it, but I'm really loving how that looks. All right, so I'm putting Olaplex number 2 in her hair. We're gonna let this sit on for about 10 minutes while she kind of just relaxes. And we're just gonna let this kind of help close down, or not really close down the cuticle, but really just kind of repair a lot of that hair after it just got freshly lightened. And then we'll shampoo her out because we're gonna apply her conditioner color on top of that, but we wanna make sure that we shampooed her hair out because we're not gonna actually shampoo out that final color. So we'll do the shampoo and then we'll get on to it after that. All right, so we rinsed her out, we did Olaplex number 2, we shampooed, and now I just rough dried her pretty quickly. We obviously didn't dry it 100%, she's still a little bit damp, but that's okay. And you guys can see we just have this nice clean canvas. Now if some of this scares you guys that we have some warmth in there, that's okay. I'm actually gonna be utilizing the warmth that we have in her roots and her little bit of leftover pink to work into her color right now. And that's what I like doing, is working with the canvases that I have. So I'm going to be applying her color. You guys can see this is the color that we mixed up. I'm really loving how it looks, and I'm gonna apply it to about 1.5 inches down from her roots, and then we'll go through and apply a little bit lighter on the ends. All right, so I just went through and applied it to the front of her hair. I just kind of combed it through with this Wow comb. I love this comb. This is the Wow comb. You guys can find them on Instagram. It's just Wow, W-O-W comb. But it doesn't drag down the color, so I like using this for color melts. And now I'm gonna apply it to the back of her hair, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use that foil trick that I showed you guys earlier. So even though we use it for bleach, we're actually gonna be using it for her color, so that as I'm laying this over and applying her color, I'm not having to worry about this hair getting color on it. So this is a really great trick, and like I said, I use this kind of foil trick all the time, so I hope that you guys start utilizing that. So what we're doing is we're just applying the color, like I said, about 1.5 inches down, and I'm applying a lot of color. Sometimes with freshly lightened hair, you want to make sure that you're getting a lot of that color in there so that there's not those hollow spots. So I do apply quite a bit of color in there just to make sure that that's not happening. So we'll continue down, and I'll show you guys when we get around to the front. All right, so I have her root formula and we have a little bit left over. So what I'm gonna use is I'm actually gonna use this color as the base to mix up her end. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of this color and I'm going to pump some conditioner. Now again, as my conditioner base, I just use a white base conditioner. It doesn't need to be anything fancy. This is just extra conditioner that I had kind of around. So it doesn't need to be anything in particular, but I just like to use a white base one because that way I'm not having any other colors, you know, mixing in there. So I'm just gonna mix this a little bit lighter, and I like this because I'm using her root color as her base, and so it's just gonna make it a lot easier to mix up this end color and make it a lot easier to apply. So I'm just gonna kind of mix this guy up till I get to the color that I'm happy with, and then we're gonna apply it to her ends. That's good. All right, so her time is up. We've let her process for about 25 minutes, and now I'm gonna actually rinse her hair on cool water. So I like to do this for a lot of my vivid colors or things like that. I know it feels a little uncomfortable for the clients, but I like to rinse it as cool as possible, as long as they can handle it. But this is just gonna help ensure that color stays in, kind of lock in that cuticle as well. And we're not gonna shampoo this, so I'm gonna rinse it really, really good because this is a lot of conditioner in the hair. And I just wanna let it settle in the hair as long as much as we can. But I will use the Biolaw's Raw Acidic Milk Rinse, and that's gonna help also kind of seal in that cuticle as well. All right, so I'm putting the Biolaw's Raw Acidic Milk Rinse in, and you guys can see her color looks already so good, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna just basically put this all over her hair and let it sit in for about 10 minutes. All right, and here is our final look. I love how it turned out. I love that we did a little bit deeper of a root. You guys, it looks so shiny, it looks so healthy. Definitely adding in Olaplex and the acidic milk rinse helps a ton with that kind of stuff. So I would highly recommend checking those two out if you don't already. But I just love how this turned out. See all the dimension and all the different colors in there. I think it's so pretty. All right, thank you so much for watching this YouTube video. I hope that you guys enjoyed this process. This was something a little bit different than what I normally do, but I wanted to share with you guys my technique for doing a platinum retouch and of course my signature rose gold color. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button below because I'm posting tons of videos like this. And go ahead and leave a comment telling me your favorite thing about this video. I love hearing what your guys' favorite things are, the light bulb moments that are happening, and what you guys love about these videos. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys next time.